Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 779. The title of today's lesson is The Difference Between Decode and Decipher. Okay, if someone wants a screenshot, do it now. Let's get right to it. Now, there will be a little crossover between these two words, but there's other areas where they clearly will probably be used. We'll use this term instead of that term. Okay. If someone decodes a message that has been written or spoken in a code, he or she changes it into ordinary language, especially when one tried to hide it. So if it was actually purposely put into a code to begin with, for somebody to keep it secret or just limited to certain people, then decode is probably more likely if it was truly meant as a code. All right. Now, the second use is where there could be a little crossover. If a person decodes something such as a play or a work of art or someone's behavior, you manage to understand its meaning or what it is trying to express when it is not obvious. All right, let's continue. All right, we got two examples for decode here first. Elon Musk's Doge team is skilled at decoding that agency's hidden secret codes of payments, basically. So they tried to put it into a code, but, his team can figure out how to, find out the information. All right, number two, you don't need to decode her behavior. She is an open book and easy to figure out. Okay. All right, now let's look a little bit more at decipher. If someone deciphers a piece of writing or a message, you figure out what it says, even though it was not obvious. Okay. So here's the first one. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone helped linguists to decipher many Egyptian hieroglyphics. Yeah, a lot was lost over time. And when they found the Rosetta Stone, it was in 3 languages. And they knew one still pretty well was the classical Greek. But the other 2, they kind of lost a lot of knowledge about, but they figured out that all 3 said the same thing, and it was really just about laws. So it wasn't really a code, it wasn't something secret, it was information that was written on the stone about some rules or laws, but it was just in 3 languages. But they could use the one language they knew really well and study the other ones to decipher it, to figure it out. It wasn't originally meant as a code. So in this case, I think decipher would be more likely. All right, number 2, his handwriting is so poor, I cannot decipher it. Well, yeah, obviously his handwriting, he wasn't trying to write something in a code. He just has very messy handwriting. So decipher would be more common in that sense. Now, the last one here is where there could be a little crossover. George Orwell wrote 2 famous books, 1984 and Animal Farm, in which he hoped future generations could, well, you could say decipher deep meanings and messages, or maybe even decode, because, it was something that he couldn't come out and tell directly, that supposedly he knew of a plan of certain people in the country that they were going to try to lead governments in this direction into the future, and that they had this sort of secret plan, and he couldn't just write a book and exposing it, because, they'd probably try to kill him. So he wrote stories that people could figure out. And even when I was in school, they had, kind of deciphered that, these books were kind of warnings about, what could happen in the future. All right. Okay, anyway. So in this particular case, may depend upon how much of a code you think it is, or how much it's very clear or obvious. If you think it was more clear or obvious, you go with decipher more. Or if you want to emphasize that you think that he was kind of writing something purposely secret, then maybe you want to go with decode. Okay, anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it was clear. I hope it was very informative. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.